That's very gratifying, Miss Brewster. Personally, I've always enjoyed my talks with Cardinal Gibbons. Or have I met him yet? Bully! Oh no, I'm afraid I have no appetite for dinner now. I always eat too many of our biscuits just to taste that lovely jam. No, thank you. No, you keep it here so I can be sure of having your biscuits with it. If only Europe were on another planet. Europe, sir? Yes, Daddy. Point your gun the other way. Gun? To the west. There's your danger. There's your enemy. Japan. Why, yes, of course. No, Aunt Abby. Not so much talk about Europe and more about the canal. No, thank you, Aunt Abby. No, thank you.
Yes, I heard it a little from my daughter.
Do you like it? Well, it's a new experience for me to wait up until 3 o'clock in the morning for my daughter to be brought home. Well, of course, Miss Hubby. And so I'll say immediately that I believe Mortimer himself to be quite a worthy gentleman, but I must admit that I have watched the growing intimacy between him and my daughter with some tradition. For one reason, Miss Hubby. Stomach? No, Miss Abby. I'll be frank with you. I'm speaking of your nephew's unfortunate connection with the theater. Really? Hello, Miss Brewster. Very well, Miss Brewster. What news have you brought me? Call now. We have nothing to report. Splendid. Thank you, gentlemen. At ease. Sure. Hello, Dr. Harper. We come for the toys for the Christmas fund. That's splendid work you men do, fixing up discarded toys to give poor children a happy Christmas. Don't care about it. It gives us something to do when we have to sit around the station. Charge! She had pneumonia. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, she's better now. A little weak still. Don't bother, Miss Abby. You've done so much for her already. She shouldn't go to all the trouble. Listen, try to stop her or her sister from doing something nice, and for nothing. They don't even care how you vote. When I received my call to Brooklyn and moved next door, my wife wasn't well. When she died, and 4 months before, well, if I know what pure kindness and absolute generosity are, it's because I've known the Brewster sisters. Call now. You promised not to do that. But I have to call the cabinet meeting to get the release of those supplies. He used to do that in the middle of the night. The neighbors rarely came with us. They're a little afraid of him anyway. Oh, he's quite harmless. Suppose he does think he's Teddy Roosevelt. There's a lot worse people he thinks he was. Well, now, isn't this nice? Good afternoon, Miss Brewster. How do you do, Miss Brophy, Dr. Harper, Miss Klein? How are you, Miss Brewster? We dropped in to get the Christmas toys. Oh, yes, Teddy's Army and Navy. They were out. They are all packed. The coldness upstairs after them. It seems the cabinet has to okay it. Yes, of course. I hope Mrs. Brophy is better. She's doing fine, ma'am. Your sister is getting some soup for me to take to her. Oh, yes, we made it this morning. I just took some to a poor man who broke ever so many bones. Well, dear, it's pretty serious, I'm afraid. The doctor was there. He's going to amputate in the morning. No, I asked him, but he said it's against the rules of the hospital. This is fine. It makes a lot of kids happy. That only boy is nuts about soldiers. The General Mice. I've retired him. What's this? The organ. Teddy, dear, put it back. But the organ goes to Australia. No, I've given my word to fighting both events. But Teddy, what's the difference of what kid gets it? Bob Evans, Lady Cohen. Yes, ma'am. Well, run along, ma'am, and thank you very much. I must be getting home. George! Try the bunkhouse! The bunkhouse? The stairs are always St. John Hill. It's not a bad thing. If he's happy, and what's more important, you're happy. You see that he signed this. What are they? But why should Teddy sign any papers now? It's better to have it all settled. Mr. Witherspoon understands they're to be filed away until the time comes to use them. Mr. Witherspoon? Who's he? He's a superintendent of Happydale. I'd better be running along or Ellen will be over here looking for me. Did you just have tea? Isn't it rather late? So, why? Delighted! The bully! Just bully! I shall prepare at once for journey. Abby, while I was out. But all by yourself? I'll run right downstairs and see. Well, good afternoon, Miss Abby. Good afternoon, Miss Martha. I thought the mother was here. She just this minute left. Didn't you meet her? No, I took the shortcut through the cemetery. Mortimer hasn't come yet? Oh, he asked me to meet him here. Do you mind if I wait? Not at all. But we really must speak to Mortimer about doing this to you. Doing what? Well, he was brought up to know better. When a gentleman is taking a young lady out, he should call for her at her house. Oh, there's something about calling for a guard at the parsonage that discourages any man who doesn't embroider. Oh, please don't. It's wonderful to go to the theater almost every night of my life. It's comforting for us too, because if Mortimer has to see some of those plays he has to see, unless he is sitting next to a minister's daughter. No, don't bother with anything in the kitchen until Mortimer comes, and then I'll help you. Mortimer should be here any minute now. Yes, Murder must have been surprised not to find me at home. I'd better run over and say good night to her. It's a shame you missed him, dear. If Mortimer comes, you tell him I'll be right back. Hello, Mart. Hello, Elaine. Hello, Aunt Martha. Abby, Mortimer's here. Were you going somewhere? I was just going over to tell Mother not to wait up for me. I didn't know that was still being done, even in Brooklyn. Hello, Aunt Abby.
Of course, fine.
Abby, haven't we something to do in the kitchen? You know, the tea things. Make yourselves at home. Well, can't you take a hint? Where do you want to go for dinner? I don't care. I'm not very hungry. Well, I just had breakfast. Suppose we wait until after the show? But that'll make it pretty late, won't it? Not with the little stinker we're seeing tonight. From what I've heard about it, we'll be at Blake's by 10 o'clock. You ought to be fair to this place. Are these plays fair to me? I've never seen you walk out on a musical. That musical isn't opening tonight. No? During, you'll have to learn the rules. With a musical, there are always 4 changes of title and 3 postponements. They like it in New Haven, but it needs a lot of work. Oh, I was hoping it was musical. You have such a light mind. Not a bit. Musicals somehow have a humanizing effect on you. After a serious play, we joined the proletariat in the subway and I listened to a lecture on the drama. After a musical, you bring me home in a taxi and you make a few passes. Now, wait a minute, Doreen. That's a very inaccurate piece of reporting. Oh, I will admit that after the Burman play, you told me I had authentic beauty, and that's a hell of a thing to say to a girl. It wasn't until after our first musical you told me I had nice legs, and I have to. For minister's daughter, you know a lot of life. Where did you learn it? In the choir loft. I can afford to be a good girl for quite a few years yet. And I can't wait that long. Where could we be married in a hurry? Say tonight? Darling, I'll take it over with mother and set the date. No, we'll have to see what's in rehearsal. There'll be a lot of other first nights in October. We're skipping dinner. We won't have to start for half an hour. Don't bother, darling. I'm going to run over to speak to mother. Before I go out with you, she likes to pray over me a little. I'll be right back. I'll cut through the sentry. If the prayer isn't too long,
I'd have a time to lead you beside the still waters.
oh, by the way, I'm going to marry her. Married? Oh, Mortimer. Well, Elaine must be the happiest girl in the world. Happy! Just look at her leaping over those gravestones. By the way, I left a large envelope around here last week. It was one of the chapters of my book on sorrow. Have you seen it? Well, if you left it here, it must be here somewhere. Elaine? Oh, yes. Elaine thought it was brilliant. What was there? My chapter on sorrow. Oh, yes. Oh, and to think it happened in this room. Now, where could I have put that? Mother will out. When the curtain goes up, the first thing you see will be a dead body. Aunt Abby, you are going to make plans for Teddy to go to that sanitarium. Happy Dell. He's got to sign them right away. He's got to sign them this minute. He's down in the cellar. Get him out here right away. There's no such hurry at that. Teddy's got to go to Happy Dell now, tonight. Oh no, dear. That's not until after we are gone. Right away! I tell you! Right away! Listen, Durings, I'm frightfully sorry, but I've got some shocking news for you. Now we've all got to try and keep our heads. You know we've sort of humored Teddy because we thought he was harmless. Why he is harmless? He was harmless. That's why he has to go to Happydale. Why he has to be confined. You've got to know sometime. It might as well be now. Teddy's killed a man. Nonsense, dear. There's a body in the window seat. You know? Of course, dear. But it has nothing to do with Teddy. Forget? But who is he? That's all you know about him? Well, what's he doing here? What happened to him? He died. Aunt Martha, men don't just get into window seats and die. Well, how? How did the poison get in the wine? Well, we put it in wine because it's less noticeable. When it's in tea, it has a distinct odor. You put it in the wine? So you knew what you done. You didn't want Dr. Harper to see the body. And don't you tell Lane. Oh, Abby, while I was out, I dropped in on Mrs. Schultz. She's much better, but she would like us to take Junior to the movies again. Yes, but this time we'll go where we want to go. Junior's not going to drag me into another one of those scary pictures. City desk. Hello, do you know who this is? That's right. Say, when I left the office, I told you where I was going, remember? Well, where did I say? Well, it would take me about half an hour to get to Brooklyn. What time have you got? That's right. I must be here. Aunt Abby! Aunt Martha! Come in here! What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What am I going to do about what, dear? There's a body in there. Well, good heavens, I can't turn you over to the police. But what am I going to do? Well, for one thing, dear, stop being so excited. Forget! My dear Aunt Abby, can't I make you realize that something has to be done? But Mr. Hotchkiss, well, whatever his name is, you can't leave him there. We don't intend to, dear. You mean you're going to bury Mr. Hotchkiss in the cellar? Oh, yes, dear. That's what we did with the others. No, you can't bury Mr. Others? When you say others, do you mean others? More than one others? Oh, yes, dear. Let me see. This is 11. Isn't it, Abby? Oh, I think you're wrong, Abby. This is only 11. Well, you really shouldn't count the first one. Hello! Hello, hello, it's good to hear your voice. Shh! I didn't make it. No, you're wrong. I'll tell you all about it tomorrow. Now let's see, where were we? 12! Yes, Abby thinks we ought to count the first one, and that makes 12. All right. Now, who was the first one? Of course, I still think we can't claim full credit for him because he just died. He was such a lovely old man. He dropped dead right in the chair. How awful for you! Oh no, dear. You see, Teddy had been digging in Panama and he thought Mr. Mitchell was a yellow fever victim. So we all took him down to Panama and put him in the lock. And that's how all this started. That man walking in here and dropping dead. Well, dear, for a gallon of elderberry wine, I take 1 teaspoonful of arsenic, then add a half teaspoonful of strychnine, and then just a pinch of cyanide. Should have quite a kick. Well, I'll have to get things started in kitchen. I'm trying out a new recipe. I couldn't eat a thing. Oh, it's you. Don't be cross, darling. Mother could see that I was excited, so I told her about us, and that made it hard for me to get away. But listen, darling, she's not going to wait up for me tonight. You run along home, Elaine, and I'll call you up tomorrow. Tomorrow? You know I always call you up every day or two. But we're going to the theater tonight? No, no, we're not. Well, why not? Elaine, something's come up. What? Darling, Mortimer, you've lost your job. No, no, I haven't lost my job. I'm just not covering that play tonight. Now you run along home, Elaine. But I've got to know what's happened. Certainly you can tell me. No, dear, I can't. But if we are going to be married? Have you forgotten that not 15 minutes ago you proposed to me? I did. Oh, yes. Well, as far as I know, that's still on. Now you run along home, Elaine. I've got to do something. Listen, you can't propose to me 1 minute and throw me out of the house the next. I'm not throwing you out of the house, darling. Will you get out of here? No, I won't get out of here. Not until I've had some kind of explanation. Elaine! Hello! Oh, hello. Hold on a minute, will you? Look, Elaine, you're a sweet girl and I love you, but I have something on my mind now and I want you to go home and wait until I call you. Don't try to be merciful. When we are married and I have problems to face, I hope you're less tedious and inspired. And when we are married, if you are married, I hope I find you adequate. Elaine! Elaine! Hello? Uh, hello? 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 Huh? I understand you have a room to rent. Are you the lady of the house? My name is Gibbs. Hello, let me talk to again. City desk. Oh, city desk? What? I'm sorry, wrong number. May I see the room? Why don't you sit down a minute and let's get acquainted? That won't do much good if I don't like the room. Haven't got home. Living in a hotel. Don't like it. Hello, city desk. Are your family Brooklyn people? Haven't got any family. Yup. Hello? Mort. We got cut off. I can't cover the play tonight. That's all there's to it. I can't. What church do you go to? There's an Episcopal church practical next door. I'm Presbyterian. Used to be. What church doing in Bermuda? Suddenly I told him he could go to Bermuda. It's my department, isn't it? Well, you've got to get somebody. Who else is around the office? Is there always this much noise? Oh, he doesn't live with us. There must be somebody around the place. Look, how about the office boy? You know the bright one, the one we don't like? Well, you look around the office. Hold on. I'd really like to see the room. Never touch it. We make this ourselves. It's elderberry wine. Elderberry wine. Haven't tasted elderberry wine since I was a boy. Thank you. Well, there must be some printers around. Look, the fellow who sets my copy. He ought to know about what I write. His name is Joe. He's the third machine from the left. But he might turn out to be another Burns Mantle. Do you have your own elevator wishes? No, but the cemetery is full of them. No, I'm not drinking, but I'm going to start now. Do you serve meals? Mortimer! You can't do things like that. I don't know how to explain this to you, but it's not only against the law, it's wrong. It's not a nice thing to do. People wouldn't understand. He wouldn't understand. Abby, we shouldn't have told Mortimer. What I mean is, well, this has developed into a very bad habit. Hello? All right. I'll see the first act and I'll pan the head out of it. Let me down. Okay, I'm starting now. Look, I've got to go to the theater. I can't get out of it. But before I go, will you promise me something? We'd have to know what it was first. I love you very much, and I know you love me. You know I'd do anything in the world for you, and I want you to do just this little thing for me. Don't do anything. I mean, don't do anything. Don't let anyone in this house and leave Mr. Hoskins right where he is. Why? I want time to think, and I've got quite a little to think about. You know, I wouldn't want anything to happen to you. Anyway, you do this for me, won't you? Well, we are planning on holding services before dinner. Services! Suddenly, you don't think we'd bury Mr. Hoskins without a full Methodist service, do you? Why, he was a Methodist. But can that wait until I get back? Yes! Yes! And remember, you're not going to let anyone in this house while I'm gone. It's a promise. Well, have you got some paper? I'll get back just as soon as I can. There's a man I've got to see. That'd be fine. I can save time if I write my review on the way to the theater. Mortimer didn't seem quite himself today. Why? We promised Mortimer we wouldn't let anyone in. Wait a minute. Look. It's two men and I've never seen them before. There's a curve at the curb. They must have come in that. Do you recognize them? We just have to pretend we're not at home. Come in, doctor. This is the home of my youth. As a boy, I couldn't wait to escape from this place. Now, I'm glad to escape back into it. Yeah, Johnny, it's a fine hideout. The family must still live here. Yeah, I'm hungry. Look, Johnny, drinks. Though we were expected. A good omen. Why, Aunt Abby, Aunt Martha, it's Johnson. You get over here. I'm Johnson, your nephew Johnson. But I am Johnson, and this is Dr. Einstein. Not Dr. Albert Einstein, Dr. Hermann Einstein. I see you're still wearing the lovely garnet ring that Grandma Brewster brought in England. And you, Aunt Martha, still the high collar to hide the scare where grandfather's ashes burned you. His voice is like Johnson's. No, my face. Dr. Einstein is responsible for that. He's a plastic surgeon. He changes people's faces. But I've seen that face before. Abby, remember when we took that little shoes boy to the movies and I was so frightened? It was a face. Easy, Charlie, easy. Don't worry, ladies. The last 5 years, I gave Johnny 3 new faces. You see, doctor, you see what you've done to me. Even my own family. Johnny, you're home in this lovely house. How often he tells me about Brooklyn, about this house, about his aunts that he loves so much. They know you, Johnny. You know it's Johnson. Speak to him. Tell him so. Yes, Johnson, where have you been? Oh, England, South Africa, Australia, the last 5 years in Chicago. Dr. Einstein and I were in business there together. Yes, we found Chicago awfully warm. Yeah, it got hot for us too. Well, it's wonderful to be in Brooklyn again. And you, Abby, Martha, you don't look a day older. Just as I remember you, sweet, charming, hospitable. And dear Teddy, did he get into politics? My little brother, Doctor, was determined to become president. I know about Mortimer. I've seen his picture at the head of his column. He's evidently fulfilled all the promise of his early nasty nature. Well, Johnson, it's very nice to have you seen you again. Bless you, Aunt Martha. It's good to be home again. Yes, if you'll excuse us for a minute, Johnson, unless you're in a hurry to go somewhere. Well, Johnny, where do we go from here? We got to think fast. The police. The police have got pictures of the face. I got to operate on you right away. We got to find some place for that. And we got to find a place for Mrs. Spinazzo too. Forget Mrs. Spinazzo. But you can't leave a dead body in the rumble seat. You shouldn't have killed him, Johnny. He's a nice fellow. He gives us a lift. And what happens? He said I looked like Boris Karloff. That's your work, doctor. You did that to me. Now, Johnny, we find a place somewhere. I'll fix you up quick. Tonight. Johnny, I got to eat first. I'm hungry. I'm weak. Aunt Toby, I've spent a great many hours regretting the many heartaches I must have given you as a boy. But my great disappointment is for Dr. Stein. I promised him that no matter how rushed we were in passing through Brooklyn, I'd take the time to bring him here for one of Aunt Marcia's home-cooked dinners. Oh, Abby, it's a pretty good sized pot roast. Pot roast! I think the least we can do is to thank you, Aunt Martha. We stayed to dinner. Yes, is that still there? Well, we get a mail on the way. Grandfather's laboratory. And just as it was, doctor, a perfect operating room. Too bad we can't use it. After you've finished with me, why, we could make a fortune here. The laboratory, the large ward in the attic, 10 beds, doctor, and Brooklyn is crying for your talents. Why work yourself up, Tony? Anyway, for Brooklyn, I think we're a year too late. You don't know this town, doctor. Practically everybody in Brooklyn needs a new face. But so many of the old faces are looked up. A very small percentage, and the boys in Brooklyn are famous for paying generously to stay out of jail. Take it easy, Johnny. Your aunts, they don't want us here. We are here for dinner, aren't we? Yeah, but after dinner. Leave it to me, doctor. I'll handle it. Why, this house will be our headquarters for years. Oh, that would be beautiful, Johnny. This nice, quiet house. Those aunts of yours, what sweet ladies. I love them already. I get the bus on? Doctor, we must wait until we're invited. But you just said that we'll be invited. And if they say no, doctor, two helpless old women. It's like comes true, a beautiful dream. Only I hope you're not dreaming. It's so peaceful. That's what makes this house so perfect for us. It's so peaceful. Charge!